them from the church. You can't be that religious.
Ooh, it looks like Christmas came early.
This
we got
is
today?
my favourite part, you know.
Let's have a look what we've got in here. Ooh,
Oh, there is something in there. It's
Yeah, it's only small.
rather petite.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of this.
What
It
do you
doesn't
think?
look very practical. It really
doesn't,
doesn't. It
no.
really does. I don't think that could hold anything.
It's got a little bit of writing on the front here that says, from the deck of the Mauritania.
Should we get them in?
Let's get
I
them
think
in.
we should, yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome to this special Christmas edition of Antique Alibi, Vintage Cash Cow's weird and wonderful game show. My name's Nikki and I'm one of your hosts.
Hello, I am Gabriel.
Hey, I'm Eloise, and we're working as a team to detect the traitors. Each episode, we're presented with one unique vintage item, but there's only one owner.
Now, the traders will try their absolute best to try and deceive us into thinking that the item belongs to them. However, we will rack our brains, use our inquisitive minds, and ask some really wild and wonderful questions to figure out who the item truly belongs to.
So here we are with round one of our Antique Alibi game show. So, first of all, here is our item. Now this is, well, it's a barrel, isn't it?
It's really cute.
It's really
really
sweet.
adorable.
I love me a miniature.
I mean, it's a miniature barrel, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is so cute.
I don't really understand. Like, is it a shot?
I don't
a shot
know.
cup?
That's why I
Like,
smelled it. I was like, any alcohol, or
some
has it
whiskey,
held
some
anything?
rum coming off of that. So I might ask them to hold it. Because it's such a delicate
Yeah,
item. Like
go
I
ahead.
don't really.
Yeah.
Right. Here you are, sir. Okay. In the palm. No
Okay,
idea if
okay.
this is going to help us whatsoever. That is.
Oh, very
great-
delicate,
great
very
way-
delicate.
Here we go, mate.
Grasp.
Ah, he's going
He looks like he's going to take
He
it
has
off.
drank
Great
from that
shot.
before.
And yourself, madame.
Oh, that means a lot to her.
I can see it in your eyes. Well,
Oh,
ladies,
God.
you've been figured out.
Well, the fact that we don't know what it was actually used for.
It's an issue.
Now that we've said shot glass, that's all I keep thinking about.
Yeah, that's all I can think about is that it was something that someone would drink out of. But it's from the deck. Plenty of poker faces looking at us right now.
Yeah,
It's
you're not
very
giving us anything right now.
Let's make our choice.
Okay.
To get them behind the plinth, and
Yeah.
then we will ask some questions.
Okay,
do
so,
it.
Gabe, who are you going to go for?
I'm going for 3 because you handled that very confidently.
Yeah.
You've been in some dive bars recently, I can tell.
Okay, Eloise, who do you think?
I'm gonna go for this sweet lady on the end.
And I am going to go for contestant number 2.
Oh, even he's surprised. Okay, it's not you.
Yeah. I think potentially he looks like he might have an interest in maritime history.
I don't even know what that is.
History.
Sorry, guys.
An interest in ships and sailing and
Right, we're back in the
sea
game. We're
and-
back in the game.
yeah. So I would say, as head judge at this time, you're going to have to go with my vote. And in that case, contestant number 2, would you please come and stand behind the plinth?
I think you've made a bad decision there. I think that's a bad decision.
Okay, we'll see.
Even he was shocked. Now you look scared.
And now for round 2, we're going to hear from each of our contestants as they give us their version of events as to how they came to have this vintage item in their hands. So first of all, we're going to turn to contestant number 1.
This is my little barrel that was made from the decking of the RMS Mauritania. My great-great-uncle worked on that ship in the early 1900s and was also called Tom, which is my name.
Had a bit of a
Is it
shaky
RMS?
voice, though.
Did you say RMS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had to look back at his
To
card.
check that,
To
yeah.
check that one. I don't know, Tom.
So normally it would be HMS. It's His or Her Majesty's.
Admittedly, like I said, boats
Your
isn't
maritime
my
history is not...
Mine is,
yeah.
mine is. It would be
But
normally be
hey,
HMS.
But hey, I'll go off what we have here.
Turns out he's right. I'm an absolute mug.
I mean, that would make... His story would make sense. His
Wrong.
story would make sense, though,
It
wouldn't
would make sense.
Yeah,
it would
there's
make
nothing.
sense.
There's nothing too elaborate about that. It makes complete sense that he would have that
I'm
item.
really banking on ships being called HMS rather than RMS. I don't know why it would be RMS, but that's the early.
Imagine you're wrong in this
I
situation.
could be.
Now you're the traitor.
Wouldn't be the first time. Would not be the first time. Let's hear some more. then we
Okay,
can
let's
start
move on
dropping them like
to
flies.
contestant number 2.
I was tidying up after an event at church and found this barrel under one of the pews.
Okay.
Now,
That would not make sense if it was connected to the Mauritania.
good. Because, I mean, if it's been out of service since the
How did it
early
end up under
1900s.
one of the pews in a church?
I mean, if that's made out of the Mauritania, then there's no reason why the pews weren't made out of the same material, and it could have been.
But how would
But
that...
why would you take it to church anyway? That's something
On
like
display? I
having
don't know,
that
it's-
in your pocket. I mean,
So I wouldn't discount that. I wouldn't discount the church links to something of a
Okay.
royal ship.
Well, let's move
All right.
on. Let's go to
It could work.
Let's go to contestant number
stretch.
3.
Hi. As you can tell, I'm a keen whittler. I was at a wood carving and whittling convention and I saw these little barrels and I bought one about 10 years ago for my son to use as maybe a little desk tidy. He did not use it.
So he used it as a shot glass instead. Right. See,
He looks like he could be...
worker. You're a worker.
He looks like the sort of person that might work with wood and creative and...
yeah. But it's so tiny.
Well, a few pens in there and then
I mean, any pen that you put in that is just going to fall out, or the barrel's going to fall over. So that I don't believe. I mean, unless they're tiny little miniature little crayons, fairs, that could work.
OK, let's move on to our final contestant. So contestant number 4, please give us your version of events.
This is my barrel, and my dad made it for me when he was making a lot of model aeroplanes and had leftover wood.
I want to know then, was it used from the wood of that ship? How did he make
or
the
it
back?
was made as all the airfix sort of stuff where it's models of real life things. So it may not actually be from the wood of that ship, but it might be a model of.
Recreation.
Yeah.
This is a tricky one.
This is really tricky.
This is a very difficult one. Based on the information that we've received from our contestants, we're going to choose at this stage who we think owns this miniature barrel.
I think with a bit more questioning, I think we're going to find that it's between one of these two.
OK, who are you going to go for?
It's been a trend of recent days, but I'm going to stick to my guns.
OK, so who's that?
Number 3.
Number 3. Eloise, who do you think?
I don't know. That headband's just saying "pick me, baby." So I'm going to stick with my guns. Number 4.
OK, well, I am going to go with contestant number 1.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Switching it up.
So, again, as head judge, I do have the final decision. So, contestant number 2, if you would please rejoin the line. Contestant number 1, if you'd like to stand behind the plinth. Welcome back to round 3 of our vintage cash cow game show, Antique Alibi. We're now going to question our contestants to find out who this vintage item belongs to. So we're going to start with contestant number 1. What do you do with this item? Do you have it on display in your home somewhere?
Strangely enough, this has been something that has only been brought to my possession very recently. It was just something that I got as a very young child. And through all of the clutter that you find in your house, it was unearthed, and I have found this maybe sort of about a year ago, and I've had it in my house just on display as a little knick-knack.
Yeah, it would make sense to give something of that size to a child, I think, because it's a child-sized barrel, isn't it? Because so in my opinion, it would make complete sense to give this to a young child as a family heirloom or whatever.
I don't know. I like to go off body language, especially when I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to boats. So going off your body language, it was very much like, and all I remember is that you got it off like his great uncle Tom. I don't remember hearing about your granddad, but I could be wrong again. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really
It feels
buy
like
that from you then.
It doesn't quite balance up in the sense that he's talked about how there was a letter in there and that divulged sort of the experiences of his granddad and how that is a sort of, a transferal of information, of history of your own family. You just thought there'd have been a little bit more importance placed in the actual item since before last year.
Okay.
So there's some gaps, there's some holes we could poke.
Yeah. OK, let's move on to contestant number 2. Can you please give us a little bit more information about this item. So you said you found it under a pew in church. I have to ask, are you American, Canadian?
I'm American, yeah.
American. Did you find this in church in America or in the UK?
In the UK.
Okay. And when you first came across it, what did you think?
I was a bit like, this is super strange, but lots of churches, especially Church of England churches, have these memorials to the different wars. So it wasn't surprising that I found an artifact, if you want to say. As an American, I think everything's an artifact. From like this memorial kind of thing. So all these beautiful flags that you can't move because it's that, and these memorials of all the people that passed away. So it wasn't that surprising that I found it under a pew.
Okay.
What made you want to take it home with you then, if it was an artifact?
Because I like to have like interesting things, since I don't have very much from anything else. Also like to like show my family.
Yeah.
Even from the church? You can't be that religious. Come on. Sin.
And what do you think it's maybe been used for in the past? Do you have any ideas what it might have been used for?
I don't know, but I mean, I want to be, so I'm really into maritime stuff, and I want to be a naval chaplain. So it was really interesting. So I think that I could possibly mean, I mean, they did drink a lot, so it could be that, but also could just be something to remember people who have passed away. So I think it might be kind of a memorial kind of thing. So.
Okay.
And I don't know what is it?
HMS.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay, moving on to contestant number 3.
Don't look so nervous.
Yeah, he does look nervous, doesn't he?
He does.
Does he? Yeah. Now, to me, he looks the most likely to have an interest in maritime, and also we talked about.
Thank you.
We talked about that he enjoys woodwork and making items and.
I do all the woodworking,
Do
the
you?
lathes, you know,
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Yeah.
The chisels,
Yeah.
all the woodworking.
What are we describing here?
That's the man that talks about his work so much that he just doesn't want to talk about his work anymore.
There you go, look.
So, can I ask you, what do you use this item for? Do you use it for anything in
I
particular?
don't use it for anything, no. I wanted it, I found it at a whittling convention.
Right.
Where people whittle things. They make little versions of things that exist in a bigger form.
Yeah.
Therefore, I was like, this is a little barrel. I'll get this.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Give it to, you know what I mean?
What other sort of items do you make then? Do you?
I don't make much. I whittle sticks. I do the odd spoon.
Okay.
I've made a stool in my time.
Yeah.
Haven't we
Okay.
all? And then
So you said you make spoons and you made a stool
Yeah.
and yeah.
it's quite an outdoorsy practice, but they have conventions every now and again. People make little things. So yeah, I have no connection to the ship or anything like that. It was just a little thing that I thought I'd like, and I thought I might give it to part of my family, and they might get into the same thing as me. But obviously, it goes the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
What family member was that?
My son.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then finally, moving on to contestant number 4.
My dad, who's not with us anymore, he used to have a shed at the bottom of the garden, and he used to make model aeroplanes and model boats, and he was
Okay.
obsessed with model boats.
Yeah.
And he made that for me out of some of the spare wood for all my earrings.
And did he
for my little
carve
studs?
the engravement that's on that? Did he carve that as well and make that?
I think he bought that from a shop, actually, the actual metal bit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he kind of stuck it on, but he's actually made the whole thing himself.
look at it. Let's grab it.
Bring it back
Yeah.
over this way.
Do you know how she looked directly at us though? And this, no, I didn't finish my sentence, I promise. This contestant is where I was going with that, thank you. Number 1, he was like looking everywhere else. I don't know, I love to go off body language, and you were looking everywhere for answers.
See,
Whereas this lady over here was looking direct. She knew what she was saying.
I just refuse to believe that he picked up a little metal, whatever it is, label that goes on it that specifically says from the decking of the. Because that indicates that the entire thing is made out of the decking.
Yeah.
But if he's made it and then found that little thing and then stuck that on it, just seems like.
So he made it for you
From
as
a model, he got all the bits from a model shop.
Okay.
Which isn't there anymore. It used to be in Warrington, and it used to have all these little bits of things old memorabilia and stuff, obviously not real, fake stuff. And he made that specifically out of the wood, specifically for me. Yeah.
And what made him choose to have the name the Mauritania on it?
He was obsessed with ships and boats, yeah. And that particular ship, I think he was quite obsessed with. I think he did make a model of the ship, if I recall rightly, because he had another shed where he used to house all his planes and his boats. Yeah, and I think he actually made a model of that ship.
Of the Mauritania.
Yeah.
You can
obviously
see
it's been destroyed. It's do you know what I mean? It got wrecked.
Okay.
You can see it's been put on, so...
So based on the
all that's just
information
been
that we
stuck on.
have from our contestants, I think it's time to make our final decisions. So, Gabe, I'm going to ask you, who do you think owns this mini barrel?
I'm stuck between 1 and 4 now.
Okay,
Very
let's
much
make a
stuck between 1
decision.
and 4. Oh, I know. I'm going to go with number 1.
Okay. Eloise, who are you going to go for?
You stole from the church. 3. Do you even have a son? So I'm sticking with my guns at number 4.
Okay, so I have to say, I am going to go with you, Gabe, and I am going to go for contestant number 1 as well.
Don't let me down.
So that's 2 votes to 1. So as far as we're concerned, the item belongs to you, contestant number 1. So here we are for the grand reveal of this beautiful vintage barrel. We're going to now find out which one of our contestants is its true owner. Is it going to be contestant number 1, contestant number 2, contestant number 3, or contestant number 4?
Go on, El Capitan. It's yours. I must get it because my son's going to be well upset.
Oh.
Is it? Is it yours?
You got to put it on the plinth. Whoever's it is has to put it on the plinth. Only the person sees it.
Yeah.
Can we do that again?
You need to be quick then.
It's already
That's
happened.
so cute.
We were right.
Over the
Are
moon
you
with that.
kidding me?
Over the
I
moon.
wouldn't have thought it was you at all.
I just want
At
to
all.
apologise for questioning you on your marriage.
I don't have any, so it's fine.
So, contestant number 1, just tell us a little bit more. So this was handed to you by your granddad, did you say?
Yes,
Yeah, and it
that's
was your great-great-uncle?
Yeah, so it was his father's uncle
Okay.
that gave it to him, and then it passed down to me, and it's been
So where
through-
did it come from?
So it's from the decking of the RMS
It is
Mauritania.
actually-
Yeah, so essentially after it was finished its maiden voyage,
Yeah.
got broken down into little parts and things like that, and then got made into one of these little trinkets
That's
for me to have.
fantastic. That's incredible.
And I do know if you watch the Titanic, the Mauritania
It's
is
mentioned. Yes, it
because
is.
it's faster than the RMS Mauritania.
Ah.
And I think maybe Royal.
Royal would make sense.
Yeah.
Royal would make sense. Yeah.
Maybe.
There we go.
I don't know.
We'll
but-
double check that one.
But essentially, when I was given it, I was also given this little letter from my granddad that he put and written for me for when I actually got it. So there's some of the details are all
that's
in
fantastic.
here.
And did you know your granddad?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh. And we can't go away without thanking our 3 other contestants for your fantastic lying skills.
So you don't have a son, but do you have an American accent?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Wait, so you don't have a son and you don't steal from the church?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Take that back.
I would like to use it for my earrings.
Smart.
Yeah, we'll make a nice
All
little
my
trinket.
studs.
Yeah. Oh. And did your dad actually make things in his shed in the garden? Oh, he did.
brilliant.
He did.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Yeah.
make you that.
He didn't make me that.
He didn't.
no.
Oh.
It's good to hear there were only white lies, not
Yes.
too much.
Well, there we have it for another episode of Antique Alibi, brought to you by Vintage Cash Cow. If you like what you saw, then check out our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and comment as well. And we will see you next time. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Oh.